Have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. Today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Martha Sullivan, the owner of Provenance Hill Consulting. So Martha, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you on here.
Yeah.
So let's start with, what is Provenance Hill Consulting?
Provenance Hill Consulting is really the genesis of many years of experience that I've had helping business owners buy, build, and grow their companies.
All right.
And so what we do at Provenance Hill is we really have a specialty in helping business owners that are starting to think about transitioning their company's ownership.
All right.
Whether that is transitioning it to managers, transitioning it to next generation, if they have adult children involved, or selling it outright.
All right.
And that preparation process is actually more involved than people think it is.
Yeah, I know that I've talked with business owners that had it's a one-person business, which is essentially just owning a job.
Right.
And their retirement plan was selling this job.
And that doesn't usually sell for much money.
No, they give jobs away for free.
Yeah, they do.
They'll pay you to take them now. So, yeah, it's interesting sometimes having a conversation with business owners that believe just because it is a business,
that there's value there.
by some broad definition, that there's value there, or that they could find a buyer
for it. You know, the whole concept of whether a company is attractive or not is really an interesting dynamic for a lot of business owners to get their head around. Yeah. Because they view the company from their chair instead of viewing it from a buyer's chair. And how would a buyer look at their business? If I have a company that is just a job, it's just me, myself, and I, and maybe a virtual assistant or a couple of people, but all the knowledge is with me, who's going to pay me for that? Because I'm going to walk out the door.
Right.
So
well, that's the goal, right?
That's the goal, is I'm going to walk out with a bucket full of cash.
Yeah, or truckload, whatever.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah. It's a big bucket.
Yeah.
But if the buyer can't step into my shoes and run the business as well and probably better than me, why are they going to pay me for it?
Right. Very fair.
Why are they going to pay me for it?
Very fair.
And I like to joke that 10 out of 10 business owners, when it comes to knowing the value of their company, 10 out of 10 are wrong.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I guess it's all worth something it's worth what someone will pay for it, right?
It's worth what someone will pay for it, but also business owners very often have a number in their head. I remember I was working for a family business. This was years ago. Yeah. And they were thinking about, eventually we want to sell it. And how much is the business worth? And one of the business owners said, well, it's worth $20 million. And I was the CFO at the time and said, so why do you think it's worth $20 million? And this owner said, well, because that's what I want. Oh, well. And being the CFO, I'm like, good luck with that.
If you get a buyer for that, sure.
If you get that, go for it, because there was no way, given the dynamics of the business and the profile of the business, what the buyer would see, there's no way anyone would have
Gotcha.
That amount.
Was the profit anywhere near something that would justify that?
The profit and the cash flow did not justify it at all.
All right.
And there were other risks that a buyer would see that would give them pause.
Gotcha. It was typewriter repair or something like that?
Actually, no. It was really, it's a good business. It's been around for years.
Yeah.
But it's just that this particular owner's view of the business wasn't aligned with how the market views it.
Gotcha.
Because, when it really comes down to value and understanding business value, I like to simplify it by what I call a magic formula. And if you think about the reward times the risk equals value.
All right.
When, I know you've sold businesses in the past, and you probably got a multiple of something.
Yeah, typically that was the starting point.
Yeah. So that something is the reward. Usually it's cash flow.
Right.
But that multiple technically speaking, that multiple is a function of risk.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is the missing equation very often with some business owners. They don't understand that it's, risk isn't what you think. Risk is what the buyer thinks.
Right. Right. I guess the idea is, with any business, right, if you're the business owner, every day you're banking on that business still being there the next day.
Yeah.
But there could be something where all of a sudden one day all of your employees walk out, and where you had a profitable, happy, super awesome business,
yeah.
all of a sudden now you have a good idea that doesn't have.
Yeah. The bigger risk is something happens to the owner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've been involved with the Exit Planning Institute for many years, and they cite a statistic that 1 in 2 business owners are forced from their ownership of their company.
Half
Are
forced. How are they forced?
Because of unforeseen circumstances.
Oh, like they got hit by a bus or something like that?
They got hit by a bus.
Gotcha.
They were disabled.
All right.
They got divorced. Divorce can be really messy when it comes to business
All
ownership.
right, yeah.
You've got dispute. So if you and I were business owners
right.
and we got crabby with one another,
mm-hmm.
we decided to part paths.
All right.
And then the last one is distress. And I think you only have to look at 2020 to understand the impact of that.
Sure.
And understand what distress looks like on business ownership.
Wow.
So there's a 50-50 chance that you will be forced out of your ownership before you're ready.
Well, that seems risky. Now, I didn't know. It's like a Russian roulette with 6 in the chamber, or 3 in the chamber, I guess, yeah.
Kind of, but that's, I know you had John Warlow on, and he was talking about building your company so that it's ready to go.
Right.
And I like to say, make sure you're always ready for sale.
Right.
And if you do that, then if the good humor truck comes
right.
and you have this unforeseen circumstance, you'll be able to get the best of what the market offers you at that time.
Or is it possible that if you are able to essentially be, I guess, a silent owner or something like that where you're not necessary, do you even need to sell at that time?
No.
You can be in the hospital bed on your ventilator or IV or whatever, and the business is still coming along.
Away. That's really the goal, is that that you can be, that the business is independent of you.
Right.
So a litmus test is, when was the last time you took a 2-month vacation from your business?
Oh man, I have a hard enough time trying to take 3 days off.
But you're a young growing business, so you're at a
youngish, I guess.
You're at a different stage,
depending upon which business you're talking about. But yeah,
that's true.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. I was doing this video. Oh man, this had to be 5-6 years ago, something like that. It's still on YouTube, so if people want to check it out.
Absolutely.
I had this thing about taking 2 weeks off, and it was a challenge for people to take 2 weeks off their business. And I was mid-recording, just flying off there with no script, and I was like, wait a second, can I take 2 weeks off my business? And so then, and this is the video, the camera was going, I'm just like, okay, here are the ground rules. And I laid out the ground rules for what they are, you like 10 minutes a day to check email. And you get a get out of jail free card if your business starts on fire or something like that. Yeah. But outside of that, you cannot be connected to your business. You couldn't check your phone and all that kind of stuff outside of that 10 minutes every morning. And you just had to take 2 weeks off. And I did it. I think I made that video in July, however many years ago. I ended up doing it, I want to say November, because I cheated a little bit and did it over Thanksgiving, right? So I got an extra 2 days in there that were easy layups. And then I went to some Rock conference. I think it was Tony Robbins, something like that.
Yeah. Something to pump you up and refresh.
Well, it was one of those, I always wanted to do it. And I'm like, well, there's 4 days that you can't be connected. It's not realistic.
Right.
You pay healthy enough to be there, so you don't want to be connected.
Right.
And I did that whole thing, and it was interesting because you get back and you think, well, I still have a business. That's cool. I feel better. That's cool. I don't even know if my employees missed me, which I guess that's cool, right?
Yeah, that's okay. It might hurt the ego a little, but it's
that's okay.
Good.
I was cool with that. Yeah, I could use a couple swipes to the ego anyway. So it was all right. It was still something like, even at the end of that, when it all went well, I can't point to anything that's like, oh, James, that was a terrible idea. Right. I still have a very hard time just letting go.
And many business owners do.
But I think part of it is I feel guilty. Like there's a work ethic where I just feel, because you're never done, right? You're never done with, it's not like, it's like seeing the whole internet. You're never going to see the whole internet. Just like you will never be done with work until you sell it. And it's somebody else's problem. But it's just like with tasks in your house or something like that. It's like, is your house ever fully clean? There's always something to clean or something to do or something to fix.
There's a balance.
Right, but I guess what I mean is to take the time off is to say, oh, I'm not working towards this accomplishment that realistically will never happen. But it's still a challenge to pull yourself away from that, which I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah, it is a balance, absolutely, in terms of figuring out what your best use is to the company, empowering your people so that they aren't dependent on you. What I like, the piece that really seems to resonate sometimes is, as a business owner, you are chief cook and bottle washer. Even when you've grown a sizable business, you may still feel that way because you're involved in things that maybe you shouldn't be, but you're there because you're comfortable. But if you can see through it to take that step back and empower others in the business so that the relationships are with others or the system knowledge is with others, that actually gives you the flexibility and the power to focus on why you started the business in the first place and what you love to do for the business.
Yeah.
That by being always ready to sell, it actually gives you as the business owner more flexibility.
Certainly more freedom.
More freedom to choose what you love doing and what you don't love doing, and how do you strike that happy balance so that you don't feel like you're always running pillar to post, and you navigate those guilties.
Right before we met here, I was on the phone with a business owner, small one-person show, and she mentioned that her business was her baby. Like, no. Never call your business your baby, because you wouldn't typically want to sell your baby.
Right.
You might want to give it away sometimes, but certainly not selling.
Well, when the baby's a teenager, that kind of goes without
saying.
Right,
but I mean, it's just like, I hate that analogy, the business is your baby.
Well, because you never want to hear that your baby's ugly.
Right.
And if it's not transferable, your baby's ugly. Nobody wants to buy it.
Oh, sure. My baby. Yeah, or sell your baby, or walk away from your baby, or get rid of that baby and have a new baby.
Right, exactly.
No, that analogy does not work.
Or transition the care of the baby to somebody else. Maybe that's another way of looking at it.
Oh, sure. Very true.
You know, maybe it's transitioning it to your next generation. Maybe you have adult children that are involved in the business, and you want to make sure that it's transferable for them and to them as much as you would to sell it to a third party.
All right.
You don't want, one of the challenges we see with many business owners when they're talking about, I'm just going to sell it to the kids, or I'm going to give it to the kids. And the kids are like, love you.
Here's my dumpster fire. What do you think?
But I don't love you that much.
Right.
But then how many adult children, depending on the dynamics in the family, have the wherewithal and the presence of mind to balance that sense of loyalty? Unfortunately, I know many business owners, next generation business owners, that transition from mom and dad that got the dumpster fire.
Oh.
And that, I'm sure, makes some family dinners
Thanksgiving
more
is
interesting in terms of, I'm struggling now because
look what you left me.
You handed me this rock.
Sure. But I imagine the parents, mom, dad, whoever started the business, probably thought that they were doing the favor to the kids. Look at this beautiful business, and the kid is thinking,
it's served me well. It's it's helped me raise you. It's wonderful, and it probably was wonderful at the time. But does it really fit where that next generation is stepping in, how prepared is the next generation to take that over. They may or may not be prepared depending on their background.
All right.
And how much are mom and dad really letting go as opposed to trying to be the puppeteer.
Yeah, I've run into businesses like that.
Yeah, I've got one now that I'm working with where the puppeteer is 85 years old.
Oh.
And next generation is late 50s, early 60s, and they're like getting ready. I want to retire.
Yeah.
And they're talking about third generation, but third generation sees the dumpster fire, and they're like, we would love to be a part of this, but you need to get help figuring this part out.
Sure. Interesting.
Before we'll do it.
All right. Interesting. So tell me about with a family sale or just family transition. Typically what you see, is it giving away? Like parents are saying, hey, here's a business, kids, you guys have it? Or are the parents essentially asking for payment?
It all the above. You can do it in a variety of ways. One of the core principles that we have at Provenance Hill is that we take a holistic view to a business owner's transition. So there's their personal readiness. Are they actually ready to let go of the business?
Okay.
And let, in this instance, family, let Junior run the business. Are they financially ready? And then is the business ready? And for as great a value as you can achieve out of it. So we go through a process where we engage with their accountant, engage with their wealth manager, engage and we'll help value the business, get a value for the business, and then we put those pieces together and say, okay, based on this, your personal financial situation shows that you've got more money than God, so your alternatives for transitioning this business are wide open to you.
All right.
Or on the flip side, bad news bears, you're going to be eating kibble in your kid's basement.
All right.
So your alternatives just narrowed.
Sure.
So to then factor that in, we'll model, well, if you gift it to the kids, this is what it looks like within your personal financial plan.
All right.
If you sell it to the kids, this is what it looks like. If you sell it to a third party, this is potentially what it looks like. Because usually when you're selling it to next generation, that will be at a substantial discount compared to what you would get in the open market.
I was going to ask you that.
Yes.
See if there's typically some sort of a I'm your kid discount or something like that.
Right. There's the I'm your kid discount. Even when you're selling to management, there tends to be a greater discount if you were selling it to a third party. Well, because you recognize that management doesn't necessarily have as deep a pocket.
All right. And I imagine it's a smoother transition.
It's a smoother transition because management knows what they're getting, in theory. The seller knows who they're selling to, so they're willing to take on the risk of selling it. Okay,
it's less interruption to the business, and I suppose the owner can toss them the keys, get the check, and move on with their life.
Yeah. And so a business owner is going to be more willing to discount it because they want it to work as opposed to going for top dollar.
And I suppose the time frame for going to sale, the time to find a buyer and go through all that.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be months, if not years.
Selling to a third party, on average, I would say takes anywhere between 9 months if you're really fast-tracked, but more often it's like a year and a half, year and a half. By the time you pull together the information, put together the marketing materials for selling the business, entertain offers, and negotiate the deal, it can take a period of time.
And a lot of noses and eyes, wanting due diligence and all that kind of stuff that takes your time as well.
Yeah. Due diligence is a big part of it, and even I like to encourage business owners to do diligence on themselves before they go to market. So there's no surprises to them, let alone to the buyers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the name Provenance Hill Consulting. Where did that come from?
As I was thinking about putting the shingle out, provenance to me, the definition of provenance is basically from the beginning, or the source of something, kind of like the genesis of something. And as we were just talking about with the flexibility and freedom part, if that allows you to get back to what was the genesis of why you started your business and why you're doing what you love, let's be able to focus on that.
All right.
And so it's really getting back to the core of what is important to you as a business owner, in your business, as well as you as a whole person, and striking that balance. So that's where Provenance Hill came from. It was kind of a daydream, and you know, having that connection to what matters most.
All right. Interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
And tell me, from the businesses that you've helped sell, generally speaking, after it's all said and done and the dust settles and all that jazz, the people that sold, would you consider them to be happier than when they were pre-sale?
That's a really loaded question.
Well, it's more of a, I guess, I mean, if you sell a business, I think a lot of the assumption is that they're older, but that's not necessarily the case.
That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes you are indeed getting a business right. In fact, I'm working with a business owner right now who wants to sell his business because, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. I want to go on to do something else. That's
why I sold my first business.
Right, right. And so whether you're young or more experienced in business ownership, there are a lot of different reasons why you would do it. And I'm sorry, what was your question?
Oh, if people are generally happier after they sell.
After. So one of the aspects of transitioning a business is understanding what the value is important, but also understanding what you're going to afterwards. So after you put down that champagne glass, what's tomorrow bring? And again, through Exit Planning Institute, they cited a survey that said that it was done by one of the large CPA firms. I don't remember which one in particular, but they found that 12 months after selling their business, 3 out of 4 business owners profoundly regretted. That was their choice.
3 out of 4.
Profoundly regretted selling their
business.
business.
There's all kinds of crazy risks. Who would regret selling their business? Interesting.
Well, the regret comes in 2 forms.
Okay.
It comes in one form, as I talked about earlier, how 10 out of 10 business owners have a misguided impression of what the business is worth. If you don't have a baseline as you're going into this process, you have all these assumptions.
All right.
And then those assumptions get tested time and time and time again. Well, I thought it was worth 20, but I'm only getting 10. Well, that sucks, even though that's what the market's saying it's worth.
All right, so they regret the number.
So they regret the number because they either didn't understand the number, or they didn't understand why the number was what it was.
All right.
So there's a great deal of value in a business owner understanding how business value works and how the sale process works.
Okay.
Because the sale process can be pretty brutal. It can be pretty hard, especially due diligence and final negotiations. So there's the experience of going through the process of actually selling it. But then there's this whole other side of who am I? What am I? What am I going to do tomorrow? And so much of as business owners, our perception of ourselves and our lives are in our businesses.
Right.
And those that do it most successfully, that 25%, have recognized that they need to start building a life outside of the business. So on Monday, after we closed on Friday, I already have other activities, other interests. Maybe I've already started a new business. Maybe I've gotten involved in some really cool other projects or board positions or something like that, but you've actively put things in place.
All right.
So you're not going cold turkey.
Interesting.
On
Okay.
Monday morning.
All right.
If you're going cold turkey, you're then sitting there going, oh my God, what did I do? What am I going to do? Who am I? What am I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of golf, and my social network is gone because my social network was my business.
Oh, sure. Okay.
My intellectual stimulation was my business.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of coaching goes around preparing yourself for the transition.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that readiness is and I take this from an author that his book is Walking to Destiny, Chris Snyder.
Okay.
And he likes to say that readiness is not a state of mind.
Okay.
Readiness is a state of fact.
Interesting.
So
okay.
either you have the financial wherewithal that you can successfully sell or gift the business and you won't be eating kibble.
Mm-hmm.
Your business is ready to transfer so that somebody else can step in and run the business just as successfully, if not more. So that's the second piece. And the third piece is you know what your plan is. What are you going to do?
All right.
Are you truly ready to step and go into that next adventure as opposed to looking into the rearview mirror?
Interesting.
And you can answer yes or no to
All
every one of those questions.
Okay.
So it's a state of fact.
You know, it's interesting now that you mentioned, or we're talking about this. I met with a company that was going to buy one of my companies, and I remember driving back. This is probably a 5-hour drive. I was driving back, and I call up one of my business people that I know that just we chat with every month. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, I sold my company. And she's like, you don't sound too happy. I'm like, I don't sound happy. That should be a happy time.
Should be a happy time.
So I end up bowing out of that deal. Also, they cost me a couple clients because they weren't that great. But that part doesn't really matter. The interesting thing was that there's a verbal agreement and everything was hunky-dory.
Yeah, but there's something that's saying this isn't
the
right path.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because one, the number was not stellar. The worst thing was the number was spread out over.
So you still had a lot of risk.
Over months, yeah, and it was connected with them maintaining a certain percentage of revenue.
So you had an earnout component.
Right,
yeah.
and I had no control over that.
Nope.
So I'm like, that's dumb. That is.
Well, earnouts are very common.
Yeah, my first business I did that.
Yeah.
And I ran into the same situation. There was a bonus year attached to it.
Yeah.
As long as they maintained a threshold. And the threshold that we put in, I thought there's no way they could go under that. Because it was about equal with what I did my first year in business. And that was 8 years prior. I'm like, there's no way that they as a company, bigger than I am now, that they could do less than I did in my first year in business.
Did they surprise
oh my
you?
God. They drove that thing right in the ground. Drove it in the ground. And all I can think is, you morons. And then I thought, well, James, you're kind of the moron because you agreed to it.
Very often when you're negotiating earnouts, we will coach business owners to understand that's just gravy money, and don't plan on getting it, because when it's an earnout, it is not under your control.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they dropped that business 75% in 3 years.
Yeah, it's like, holy man.
Like it was one of those, like, if you stop doing all marketing, how could you possibly go that low? But it turns out that if you piss off the clients, that's very easy to
it's easy to
drop down. Who knew? That was a secret I didn't share with them, right? We're nice. Did you try that? Anyways, so yeah, it's interesting about the whole regret thing.
Yeah.
What do you find most business owners, or I guess it would be previous business owners, what do they typically do? Do they go for long walks on the beach? Do they take up golf? They write a book? They start a different business? What do you typically see?
It's a wide variety in terms of the path that you see. One of the gentlemen that I know that sold his business, he didn't come out of retirement, but he actually joined a Rotary Club.
Oh.
A year after he sold his business.
All right.
Because he wanted the social connection.
Sure.
And the intellectual.
Camaraderie.
Yeah,
all right.
and the camaraderie and the intellectual engagement type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other business owners spin into creating a new business like yourself.
Right.
And then there are others that are doing, volunteer work and pouring themselves into their family because that is truly what they're ready to do.
Interesting.
But they've also given some thought to it, and they recognize that it's not within them to just sit still.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to find a variety of activities that feed them and feed their soul.
All right. I imagine it's similar to retirement.
Yeah, very similar.
I don't know what the percentage of people that die after they retire within 5 years or something like that.
I know there's a statistic out there, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but they no longer have something to live for, so to speak, or there's no defining reason for them to get up, so they just...
I think the parallels to retirement are very, very strong.
Yeah.
I think for business owners, it's retirement on steroids.
All right.
Because we've been so immersed.
Right. Walking away from a job, I imagine, is easier than walking away from a business.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So for the people that are listening or watching this,
yeah,
can you tell us what are some steps that a typical business owner could take to prepare for preparing to sell down the road that you see a lot of business owners just don't, or oblivious to, they don't know, things like that?
So one of the processes that we strongly encourage our clients to go through is a form of a discovery process where we actually kind of go under the hood with the business in assessing what are the strengths and the risks in the business.
All right.
And our process includes an estimate of what the intrinsic value might be of the business. It's not going to take into account market comps or things of that nature, but based on historical trends and some financial analysis, we can get a ballpark. But the process that we use also helps get at how much risk is actually in the business. And we through this assessment we arrive at a score, and that actually feeds the value algorithm, if you will. And it also helps point out areas where if you work on this specific area, it will directly impact the strength of your valuation.
Okay.
And what I've done this a variety of ways. You can do it just as individuals in terms of, okay, just fill this out, dear business owner. Or what I really like to do is to facilitate it with the leadership team within the company.
Okay.
And so, James, if you have a couple other key managers in your business, let's all get in a room and talk about the strengths and risks of the business. And, at a very high level, we might say, well, let's talk about the strength of our marketing plan.
Okay.
And James, you say, I think our marketing plan is just the bee's knees, and I'd give it an 8.
All right.
And
out of 10.
Out of 10.
Okay.
Out of 10. And I'm sitting across the table, I'm going, respectfully, I think it's a 3. Oh.
And you as a consultant, or you as another member of the team?
You as me as a member of your team.
All right.
So I'm the consultant facilitating the conversation.
Right.
I'm going, interesting. We've got 1 8 and 1 3.
Somewhat polar opposites there.
Let's talk about that. Why is that? Why do you think it's the bee's knees? Why do you think it sucks? And where's the kernel? Where do we meet in the middle? And what it's a kind of conversation that business owners and their teams rarely have, but should have on a regular basis. This is the essence of working on the business. It's an overused phrase in terms of working on versus in.
Right.
But this is the essence of engaging your team in understanding the strengths and the varying perspectives of how to grow the value of your company and make it more ready to sell, even though it may not be for sale now.
Right.
So, for example, with your businesses, you don't have any intention of selling it for some period of time. If you're focused...
An hour,
maybe
right.
2. You know, maybe if the afternoon improves, it'll be next week.
Yeah, it depends who's standing outside, I guess, with a checkbook. But, right.
But you know, it's said that if you're focused only on income, if you're only focused on profit, you may not have value at the end of the day.
Oh, interesting.
So let's parse that out.
All right.
I'm focused on the bottom line, which is, if anybody who has a business background, what are we told? Focus on cash flow. Focus on profitability. You got to drive profits.
You want in the black, not in the red.
Right, and that's all true, but you're leaving out the risk factor.
All right.
And so you're not thinking about, is the company going to be transferable if you're just focused on income?
Okay. All right.
So you're just focused on profits. So what do? You hire employees at a potentially lower rate of pay because that drives profit, as opposed to investing in your employee and getting the caliber of individuals that can rise in your organization and allow you to step out of it sooner.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a change in the mindset, and that's I really enjoy starting with a business, doing that type of an assessment, and I always learn a ton working, and I know you work with other businesses, and it's one of the things that keeps you going is because you're learning so much. But what's fun to see is how these conversations gel, and the team will gel in getting focused on, okay, great, this is where we're at, and here's where we want to go. Let's go there. Let's build the plan and go there. And that would be the logical next step.
All right.
Is to build a strategic business plan that helps the owner and their team get to where they want to go, which may include selling next week, or it might not.
So do you ever have business owners come to you and say, in order for me to cash out, I need this number. What do I need to do to achieve that number with this business? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And that's, again, why we start with that blended or integrated approach with the wealth manager and evaluation and the risks of the business, because you're able to say, oh, rats, I'm facing kibble. I don't want kibble.
Right.
I want this number. I want that 20 million. Okay, now we know what our marching orders are. Let's figure out how we get it from 10 to 20,
all right,
assuming you've got the flexibility and the time to do it.
All right.
And so that's the fun of this work, is helping business owners navigate that value gap. I want this, but it's only here now. Let's figure out how to do it.
Right.
And then, creating the outcome that you want, figuring out which exit alternative is best for you and your needs in your company.
All right. Yeah, I remember. It's interesting because I keep going back to that other almost sale of one of my businesses, where I'm like, the nut that I would have gotten would have been the equivalent of essentially 2 years' pay. And back then, we weren't the size that we are now. I didn't have to work that hard for that 2 years' pay. I mean, it wasn't huge millions of dollars every year, but it was pretty easy money. When you break it down per hour, it was pretty easy money.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my accountant, and he's like, why would you sell? Because in year 3, you won't have that income.
Right.
You'll have to do something else for that money, and what are you going to find that produces like that?
And that's a really great conversation to have, but it also reminds me of a trap that I see business owners fall into. And that is thinking, well, why would I give up this income? And it kind of goes back to the, you may not have value at the end of the day.
Right.
And it can lead to a situation where you put yourself where, I'm never leaving my business because I never want to give up this income. And so you're going to die in the chair. But if you don't have a transferable business, when you die in that chair,
right,
you've left a dog pile for your family.
Gotcha.
You've left a dog pile for your employees and your customers and your suppliers. And I just personally find that to be a tad selfish. But I understand it. And I used to get really honked off when I'd hear business owners say, I'm going to die in the chair. I'll be gone. I won't care. And I finally got over that. If that's what you want to do, that's totally cool. But let's make sure you're not leaving that dumpster fire for everybody else to clean up. And enjoy the income until you die. Great. That's awesome. Do it.
Yeah.
But make sure that it's transferable.
Right.
So that other people aren't left holding the bag at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess I want to do everything I can to remove myself from the business so that I can take time off or enjoy it. The goal was not to build something to fill my time.
Right. For some who haven't figured out what comes after they put down the champagne glass, they are white knuckling and holding on to their business.
I bet.
But for others that are able to see life without the business and are looking forward instead of the rear view mirror.
When I see with calls on call, sometimes when we're reaching out to potential clients, we find that we essentially are trying to sell them freedom.
Yes.
And they and their ego is not interested in buying freedom because then they feel like they won't be needed anymore. And we're like, look, you got this business where we can do all this, phone answering, scheduling, blah, 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 all this stuff that you're doing now. And you got a crew. Man, you let us take care of this part. Your crew will take care of that part. You can be on the beach.
Yeah.
But to remove that need, the need to be needed is an expensive need.
It can be a very expensive.
Yeah, huge limitation to their business.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It took me a little while. Well,
it's a huge opportunity.
It took me 5 years to figure out that not every client is a good fit because I would present to them and I'd be like, look, you got this problem. We have the solution. I don't understand why we're not moving forward.
This is heaven.
Yeah. And then it dawned on me that I'm offering them something that they don't want because they want this need or they want to be needed or need to be needed.
Yeah.
That to remove them from that is you're essentially taking away their identity.
Potentially.
And I'm like, that's a horrible business owner. That's where they're at.
If that's what they've tied their business into and themselves
it's their identity.
It's their identity.
Yeah.
And so a fair amount of our coaching is a lot of it's focused on the business and making sure the business is ready, but there are also these other conversations that go on that help prepare the business owner for their next adventure.
Right.
What's coming next?
Interesting. Let's shift gears and talk about your business specifically.
Yes.
How do business owners typically find you?
A lot of it is through referral networks, to be quite honest. I've worked with many CPA firms in the Madison area, and I actually have a blog that I do on a regular basis in Business Magazine. So business owners find me through that and other relationships. I also host an intensive workshop for business owners around really what we've talked about, around how to find true value in your business and blend this harmony between your business and your financial well-being and your personal well-being. And it's a 6-month, once a month intensive that we do. And so a lot of clients come in through that by learning and educating themselves about value in a business. And it's not all about exit. In fact, there's only really one session where we're really harping on the exit process. This is how you sell a business.
Okay.
It's really much more focused on how you build a strong, healthy business. So we run those on a regular basis as
Okay.
well. So people find us through those.
Gotcha. So the majority of your marketing, so to speak, is essentially just getting in front of people.
Getting in front of people.
Not necessarily a billboard or a, I don't know, online ad or something like that.
Yeah, I don't, in this particular niche of professional services, this is too personal. This is too, for some, unnerving. And they want a more confidential, one-on-one, or maybe it's, through their wealth advisor getting an introduction, but they want something that isn't salesy and glitzy and, out there, because, first of all, many of them don't even want people to know that they're talking to me.
Oh, interesting, I suppose.
Because
you don't want employees necessarily knowing, or maybe you do, I don't know.
No, most people, and the first concern is, keep this quiet. This can't get out, and for good reason.
Sure, I imagine client relationships, vendor relationships, employees. Sure,
Right.
I get it.
And so, yes, I'm on social media, and I'm doing presentations and blogs and public speaking and podcasts such as this one, to be visible, so that when the time comes for the conversation, people think of me.
Right.
But I'm not going to be out there running ads,
All right.
saying, hey, I can sell your business.
You rah-rah.
You rah-rah. That's just not me.
Gotcha.
I prefer a more tailored and discreet approach.
Are you working with businesses locally only, or national?
No,
or
nationally.
Okay.
Nationally, I've got clients all across the country, and relationships that I'm working with across the country. So, during COVID, it was obviously much more of it was done digitally.
Right.
And through the gift of Zoom, which sometimes doesn't feel
blessing
like a
curse,
gift,
right?
but,
Yeah, there's pro con. Yeah.
But yes, I'm not just Madison area. I'm much broader than
Right.
that.
I imagine people felt the same way about the telephone, right?
I imagine
Why can't we
they
just
did.
talk in dots and dashes?
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah,
do
the
this
telephone
no-fangled.
or the TV or
Sure.
stuff like that.
How I guess you as a business owner with
Yes.
your coaching practice, what have you learned that you didn't necessarily know when you first started it?
I have a new appreciation for the bleed.
The bleed.
The bleed in terms of the bleed of the work-life balance. And how, it really is a 24/7 kind of gig as a business owner. In the challenge of shutting it off and just saying, you know what, I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to go do the other things that I enjoy doing, and my husband and I enjoy doing. So, I've always been known as the Energizer Bunny in my family in terms of just go, go, go.
Sure.
But, that part of it, and then also just the juggling act
Oh.
that goes into being chief cook and bottle washer. But
Fair.
I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the connection and the ability to reach out and work with so many different business owners and helping them
Sure.
on this path.
What has been the biggest challenge for you in starting your business?
Well, I think the pandemic really, who starts a new company in the middle of a pandemic? Why the heck not?
Oh, you'd
right?
be surprised.
I know, a lot of us did. But I would say, part of that challenge in launching the business was being able to be out and to be seen and to be networking and having the conversations with business owners. Because it is such a delicate conversation, I've had the conversation successfully over Zoom, but it's more comfortable when I can sit here
Right.
and talk with you person to person without the screen in the middle.
Yeah, totally fair. It's
Totally different.
way better to be in person. Yes.
Totally
Yep.
different. So I would say I would characterize that as one of the biggest hurdles.
All right.
Was just the pandemic kind of putting us all in our separate corners and
Sure.
working through that.
So how long have you been married?
Oh, trick question.
Just ballpark.
35 years.
That's a while. Okay.
Yeah, that's a
So
while.
when you told your husband, hey, I'm not working anymore, I'm going to start my own gig, what was his reaction?
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay, very cool. All right.
Go for it. I'm blessed. I'm totally blessed. He has been the source of support and inspiration throughout my career.
Oh, very cool.
And it really, he was, go for it. You can do this.
All right.
It'll be fun.
What was your inspiration for starting your own gig versus just getting another job?
I've been in the CPA world for a long time. I've been in CFO and COO roles. One was a turnaround situation. So I've been in those other situations, and I just decided it was time for me to, in some ways, put my money where my mouth was.
All right.
And
prove the model.
Prove the model, and just go do it. And
awesome.
The timing was right. It worked out in terms of the transition out of my prior role was all gracious and cooperative and collegial, and it gave me what I needed to do to jumpstart.
Oh, very cool.
Jumpstart it. So
nice.
Yeah.
So tell me, I guess for the end here, running out of time.
Yeah.
What is the one piece of advice that you would give someone that was considering? Well, let's just start with considering selling their business.
Don't do it alone. Get help.
All right.
Get sound, independent advice from somebody who doesn't have skin in the game.
All right. The neutral third party.
The neutral third party.
Maybe not your spouse.
No, not your spouse, and maybe not even your business partner.
What should we do to sell? I'll tell you.
They may not be on the same page with you
sure,
at that
right?
time.
They may be the trigger for you wanting to sell.
Right, and the fact is that there are many advisors that do have skin in the game. And if you think about an investment banker, they've got skin in the game.
All right.
They want a closed transaction. They want you to go this path.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's not a dig on investment bankers. You need an investment banker if that's the alternative that you want to go to sell to a third party. But how do you have a balanced conversation with an investment banker about whether it should transition within the family or it should be sold to the third party?
Oh, gotcha.
You know, one of the things that I'm able to say is quite honestly, I care about what you choose, but I don't care what you choose.
Right. Right.
I want the best outcome for you.
We can help you get the deal done, whatever that deal is.
Whatever that deal is, let's figure out what that best fit is for you.
Fair.
So that's why when I hear of business owners doing it themselves, I'm just going to call up a buddy and sell it to them. It's like, oh man,
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Good luck. Awesome.
Well, Martha, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. This is a joy.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
They can find me at www.provenancehill.com.
All right.
And there's also a link. I put together a special page just for
really?
you.
Nice.
I did.
Woohoo.
provenancehill.com/authentic.
Nice. I love it.
And that'll kind of connect people to how to get in touch with me, the Finding True Value workshops, and how to have a conversation.
Very cool. I love it. Oh my gosh, this has been fun. I love the idea of selling a business because that's kind of why you build them.
You do, ultimately.
That's why I like to build them.
Yeah.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are underwritten locally by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening to this on the web or watching it on the web, which you probably are, just do us a huge favor, give a thumbs up, comment, and of course share it with all your entrepreneurial friends, especially those that are considering selling, which on certain days of any business owner's life is for sale, cheap, right? My name is James Kademan, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. as well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs looking for growth on the web at drawincustomers.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners and viewers, as well as our guest, Martha Sullivan, the owner of Provenance Hill Consulting. Martha, can you tell us what that website is one more time?
Sure, it's www.provenancehill.com/authentic.
Authentic, I love it. All right, let's see here. Past episodes, of course, can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, you know what to do. Enjoy your business right before you sell it.
Right.